All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. It was looking pretty wild last night, but I'm here to tell you the trade war is over, or at the very least delayed. So if you have been following along, this really kind of plays out from last week like we talked about. And remember on Friday, Reuters was saying that it was going to happen on March. Well, that kind of ended up happening, but what we just dealt with on the weekend, you saw yesterday, Canada and Mexico struck back, and then this morning, as we got into it, like we talked about, watch for the dollar and how that plays out, we opened up, we were still down about 2% on the NASDAQ, and then it was a couple minutes throughout the day, we got word from Mexico, Sheinbaum went live and put out a statement, and she said that she had a great talk with Trump, and that they will be sending troops to the border of Mexico, Mexican troops, and will be looking out for the fentanyl. And pretty much everybody said this was caving, and they said that they will revisit this whole situation 30 days from then. And then by the end of the day, Canada did the exact same thing. So really, you ended up getting those March tariffs, but it was after both of these countries, including the United States, all threw tariffs at each other, and then they said, okay, let's all just acknowledge drugs and send the troops to the border, and now it bought us 30 days. So trade war delayed, averted, whatever you want to call it, but now we still have China in store. There's a couple of words there that I have for you. Still got the earnings, the data, the non-farms, and a lot more of the 100-day. So we got a lot to talk about. I'm going to break down all of that for you. We have a couple of plays to be looking at and a couple of headlines after the bell. What I need from you, a thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/the stock market. We will see you there in the morning, baby. Run it.
Walking to the couch, it's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but still get a spread. Started with a little, but it's still reinvesting. Feel how I feel, then you feel like it's a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but the sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Fingers to the down.
Right off the bat, like I said, today was a very wild day, especially after last night, but if you notice, it wasn't as bad as the whole DeepSeek stuff, and right when we got confirmation from these leaders, the dollar really calmed down, and then you were just pretty much where you closed on Friday. Now, I want you to understand what happened, but this is going to lead into the trading in plays, so you got to pay attention with what Trump did today. He shot really big. He actually enacted the tariffs, showed he wasn't messing around, but what he got out of it was very small. In a weird way, this is just my opinion, I feel like Trump just wanted them to acknowledge the drug issue and send a small amount of troops. If you guys aren't aware, Joe Biden had Mexico send 10,000 troops in the beginning of 2021. So in a weird way, this wasn't anything new, but it gave the impression for a minute. That's why we were kind of overreacting last night and this morning that everybody was willing to tank the global economy. So it didn't take that many hours to realize, well, no, okay, and maybe we have a little bit more continuity than we expected, but you got the drama all the way around. Now, why is that important? How is this going to lead into any more news and trades tomorrow? This is what I want you guys to realize. Tomorrow now with Trump, we are going to be hearing from China, and here is your exclusive source. I mean, I don't know if I trust this too much. It's not a Reuters source, but it is a political source. But what they're saying is that Beijing so far is viewing the 10% tariffs as falling short of the maximum pressure campaign. So they're aware that Trump is going easy for now, and they think that it is going to be talking about some of the stuff that Trump has already brought up. They said Beijing is open to negotiate on all of the past stuff, revise the past commitment under phase 1 of the trade deal in 2020, and even enforcing the soybean purchases and all of that, boosting investment in the U.S., renewing a pledge to not devalue the yuan, and then recommitting to the crackdown on fentanyl, and even being open to a deal with TikTok. I don't think Trump wants them to agree to it, but they just got to say that they are open to it. So that's the word around DC for now. Again, the sources have been sketchy as of yet, but I think this is a little bit more legit. But the way things have going, I'm sure we'll find out within like hours before it actually happens. So be locked and loaded, but you're going to get that tomorrow. Trump is also going to be speaking with Netanyahu, and then he also pledged to back out of the UN. Now, like we said, China and Euro, he has been easy, but what I want you guys to realize after today, if he's kind of shooting strong and then really everything is resolving itself after really small gestures, then the market will be less reactive. Like I said today, the futures were half the size of even the deep seek stuff, and we didn't even move too much. And right when we got confirmation, we were quickly ready to dump the dollar there. So moving forward, we've got a lot of these first 100 days, but you got to watch out now, because if we see more strong move, small gesture, that's going to stop giving you these crazy reactions intraday. However, one of these, if we finally see like it sounds like a bluff and then kind of starts to go downhill, that's going to probably lead us into the next volatile move. Now, do I think that the volatility ends here? No, but I want you guys prepared for interpreting some of these headlines as we get them. So that was it. And the other thing I put right here, if you notice today, and it's funny because depending on where you get your news, some people are saying Trump caved to Mexico, Mexico caved to Trump, but she came out with a press conference here and cleared it all up after Trump said that they discussed, but she's the one who announced it. Same thing with Trudeau after the bell. They were the ones that announced it, not necessarily Trump. So maybe that's where that impression came from, but here's the deal. The peso moved before the markets. So that's why I have this here on the keys. I'm going to set one up. I've already like max exposure on my monitors, but I would set up a screen with the Canadian loonie, the peso, the yuan, and some even the euro and pound, because today that news move, it actually showed up on the currencies, the peso specifically, before everything else. So that's the big deal with all of it. Again, we do have our work cut out for us tomorrow. We may get to hear a little bit more on the EU as well, but we'll see where it takes us. And like we've talked about, it's kind of been a lot of red light, green light on some of these days. So you're going to juggle with some of the other data. It doesn't have to be one of these volatile moves, but we are still working our way through the 100 days. So that is key number 2. The final key is what you got today. So that ISM data, like I said, it was very subtle, but it was also very strong. Everything, I think even construction spending, construction prices, ISM prices, everything was strong. So I'm going to go out on a limb. It's Monday right now. We're going to get the JOLTS tomorrow, then private payrolls, then jobless claims, then the non-farms, and a bunch of other data sets. But I think the data is going to be strong. The ISM is now back into expansion on the manufacturing front, so that's usually a good sign for the economy. Again, we're already getting worried about inflation and all of that, so I wouldn't be surprised if the jobs data was strong on Friday. Like I said, I'm going early. We'll see if we get any other signals, but for now, I'm going to go with that. And now the weird part about it all, we did hear a couple of the Fed speakers. Are going to get a lot more of them for the rest of this week, but some of them were talking about a weakening labor market. And the way I'll put it, I think one of these job reports, once Trump data is like really legit and you start to see a change at the BLS, I think one of these reports is going to be very low. Again, is this like a conspiracy? No, it's like government buyout of federal workers and Doge and eliminating people. It's like you may see a much more different trend in government hiring. So even if the BLS was exactly the same as the last 4 years, if there was dramatic changes there, that should show up, and maybe that could kind of introduce the Trump data kicking in. But by the time, if we do get a big adjustment on the non-farms, that'll be it. But with the ISM, I don't know if we're going to get that on Friday, but that's what I would be looking out for. Other than that, you're going to have a little bit of your earnings. We'll see what China does, or what Trump does with China tomorrow and everything else, and see where it takes us. But now, let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, this is one of the plays that I made today. I went both ways on it, so I'm not too sure how this is going to play, and I even think there is a risk with it, which I'm going to talk about here. But K-Web and China, I think this is going to be an interesting one for tomorrow, the rest of the week, even when they come back from Lunar New Year and the rest of the year. But even in the short term, K-Web and tomorrow with Trump, I would be keeping an eye out for this one. Obviously, Trump is going to be talking about China tomorrow. Depending on if we get something big or not, that's going to determine whether or not these plays hit, really. And if you don't get any like big announcement, if the tariffs stay at 10% and like there's just like nothing exciting to announce, I think that's how you're going to lose on a short-term play on KWEB. I don't think China's going to react a lot. So like I was saying today, enforcement is an issue. They're bringing that up, and the way things have kind of gone today, like, is Trump looking for a small gesture, or is he really trying to make a move? If he really makes a move, these KWEBs could go very, very aggressive in either direction, but if he's just looking for a small gesture, you're going to get that back and forth volatility, and then all of these are going to get clapped. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for tomorrow. Again, we'll be there live. We'll be able to determine whether or not it is strong or weak, and hopefully you could kind of pick up on things. Again, if everything kind of stays the same and you don't hear numbers past 10 and no enforcement mechanism and nothing really sounds new, that means it's probably small. But if you start hearing about agreements and the Chinese currency and working together and even no tariffs as long as they do this, or extension of the deadline, and then also other positive developments, then that will be big for China. So watch out for that. That is going to be play number 1. Then play number 2, I hate this one, space. So yeah, I don't like these space plays at all. I don't know. I've never invested in space. I don't think I'll go to space. Are you going to go to space? I'll let y'all, after like the first set of space travelers, I'll be on like the 5th generation. But these plays, ever since Trump and Elon, he did a salute, but ever since they said they're going to the moon, people got excited about it. And today after the bell, NASA did give an after hours update. They said they are looking to advance the plans of securing public and private partnerships for, what is it called? It's like Viper something. That's the program, and they are now seeking proposals. So I think in the next couple of days, couple of weeks, you may hear from some of these space companies and competing. Remember that like Katos company? We saw some of that. So if you start hearing some government programs and contracts, some of the PRs on getting involved, that'll just give you some hype plays. But again, I wouldn't really fall in love with this. I think this could cause momentum, but I don't feel any of these for the long term. No. But that's all you, baby. Space to infinity and beyond. Shout out Buzz Lightyear. But that's play number 2. And then finally, play number 3 is a collection. Snapchat, Chipotle, Enphase, Boston Scientific, NVO, Qualcomm, ARM, Align, Roblox, Hershey's, or Net. Out of all of these, they're in order based on like the dates they report. So like tomorrow all the way down to Friday. These are the earnings companies reporting that I think could move more than 2 standard deviations. So I encourage you to watch our video on 2 standard deviations. It's a very, very elite earnings strategy, but at the end of the day, we don't know. And my weird part about earnings is like, dude, the DeepSeek stuff, now we got the trade war, first 100 days, pretty much there's only been like a few earnings winners. You have to kill it and just be in your own little world like completely. Otherwise, you get kind of pulled back into the vacuum of what's going on a day-to-day. So IBM and a few others were able to really, really kill it. Even Palantir today, I think they're going to kind of be in their own world. So you got to really look for the companies that can move. In this list, I think 2 out of any of these will hit. Maybe all of them, but again, 20% on 500%. That's all you really need success-wise. So fact of the matter is, I think 2 of these names, I mean, these are the names that I've played in the past and that I like, or they've been going through stuff. If you have any questions, ask me. I'll post the previews on my Twitter, but these are the ones that I'm eyeing for now. And Uber, of course, too. That was the other one. I forgot to put it on there because we talked about it yesterday. But other than that, that's what I'm going to be watching. I think it's going to be juggling between data, whether the market's active, going for the news headlines, and then that's it. The plays I made, we just flipped SPY dailies. I got out of my puts. We took like 100% here, 200%. I got the news. I closed out. We flipped it to calls once we knew Canada or Mexico was kind of bending the knee. It was like 500%. I spreaded it. Then I bought a put and lost like $150 and then walked away. Like I think total on the day, like 500-600 between the put and the call. So not bad after I put like 200 max, I think. So yalla, but other than that, we're chilling. We'll see where it takes us with everything else, but I think it'll be another exciting week, and I hope you're there live for all of it. But Chad, that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining, and I need you to remember, enjoy the pleasures at the high, not the low. Otherwise, they lose the hit, bro. I don't know if you gotta watch the Philo's free. I don't know what you're talking about. I know you want me live. I take my day early. I'm just saying, did you listen or not? It's there, baby. So Chad, get in the game, baby. You ain't weak. I know you're nice. Game time. Long term, you saw that too. 13K. We could turn that to 400. You know that, right? Asset. Stop it. Drink that water. Stay hydrated, healthy. All that good stuff. I'll see you in the morning. And horn.